Hello, Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz on February 2017, 11:37 p.m. Birmingham. And the topic is surprise. It's not about, well, it is about what's going on. I heard a lot of people say many times over just in 2 days, this nation is a nation basically of refugees. And I have to agree with that somewhat. Um, but I don't remember a time ever when this nation rose up and just started killing for the hell of it, started fighting on the streets, started fighting each other against who's going to be who's going to be the mayor of the next town, or who's going to lead this country, this nation, the people who came over. Well, let me tell you a little story about the people who came over before the people who came over. It wasn't such a happy time for the Native Americans that lived here in that day. We know that in Hitler's day, that Hitler tried to kill the Jews only because they're God's chosen people. He wanted them all gone, all gone. Now, when you take, and if there's hypothetically 12 million Jews, and if you do your damnedest to kill 12 million Jews, and this is what Hitler tried to do, to kill all the Jews. That's his goal. That's because he had evil spirit in him. He had Satan in him. That's his goal. He wanted to kill all the Jews. That's different than going to say Russia. And I'm guessing, and I don't recall if their population, I'm going to jump it up and say 187 million people. I don't recall. I believe is over 160, but less than 200 million. So I'm guessing, just say 187 million. And if you go there and you kill 130 million of them, then that's getting up on the level of genocide that kind of was going against the Jews. But that's never happened before. Not when people tried to eliminate a race of people that were God's chosen people. United States had Native American Indians lived here, and as far as anyone can tell, the largest group of these Native Americans. They were many Choctaw, they were Apache, they were Crows, they were the Creeks, there were 70 to 80 different tribes, actually probably a little bit more than that, because I know there were a dozen in Florida. And but the largest was the Apache Nation and the Cherokee Nation. Cherokee Nation, there was something different about them. When the first boats came over from Europe, they came over with the intent of bringing the gospel to this country. And what they found, and I'm telling you straight as an arrow, what I'm telling you is true. What they found was that when they came to this Cherokee Nation, they all wore wooden crosses around their neck. The Cherokee Nation did. They knew Christ already. Christ told, and I should have wrote that down, it's in John, 1:6 or something like that. I'll find it. I'll put it in the box below. But Christ told his disciples, he said, I want you to know I have other flock that's not of this fold. He said, I have others out there that's not of you 12 and not of this land. So he was telling them that there were others. And that others, my opinion, was the Native Americans for one, Cherokee Indians. They wore crosses, wooden crosses. And there's another tale that no other way to explain it other than the way it's told is called the little people. Some call them fairies. They were 3 foot tall or shorter. The average was between 2 foot and a little bit taller. They called them little people. They stayed to themselves. And throughout the Appalachians, the size of the land that was inhabited by the Cherokee Nation down to the daggum final square mile exactly measured 144,000 square miles. Have you heard that number before, 144,000? That's how many Jews, male Jew virgins, will be left here during the 7-year tribulation to go and witness throughout the world the gospel to those who still have not yet heard the gospel. They will magically go into any tribe in South America, and there's many that we still don't know of. And they will go in and they'll instantly know their language. They'll talk to them as I'm talking to you. They'll know their language. All they come in contact with, God will download that language into them. So they will witness to all the world. But 144,000 is really odd to have that number of square miles as their nation. But they did. What we don't know is how many Cherokee Indians lived on it. What we do know that 100 million, said right, 100 million Native Americans were slaughtered by those who came from Europe. And you don't hear much about that. At that time, there may have been 300 million, 400 million, 500 million in this country. But 100 million, and then the association to God, wasn't his chosen people or his elect. And it was not enough to consider you wiping out the Native American Indians of the United States and Canada. But of this country, the United States, not including Canada, the United States, 100 million were killed, were slaughtered, were massacred in large numbers everywhere Europeans went. So you can say you were refugees when you came over. Maybe you were. But if you came over and killed that many people, and if I lived in France, then I'm glad the hell you got out. You understand where I'm coming from? If I lived there and you were that vicious, you were that evil, you were that mean, get out, get the hell out. In a very small-minded way that some of these people are thinking in our country, much, much smaller scale, but yet their thought process is in alignment. Gangs in Chicago, they want all the other gangs dead. The Hispanics, the Mexicans that come in that has these sanctuary cities, they don't care who they kill. They really don't. Most of them are good. A lot of them are bad. And the bad ones do a lot of damage. And the reason I say you guys is because I'm not from Europe. My ancestors aren't from Europe. My grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indian. I couldn't understand a word she said. Never could. Except when she called my father. She had 13 children. She had 2 that died when they were born. And they don't receive names if they don't live. So they were buried, and I saw the markers, believe it or not, just a year before my dad died. And on the marker, it said boy, and it said girl. They don't get a name if they don't live. So they did not receive a name. But my ancestors are Cherokee Indians on one side, and the other side, some say Apache. I don't know. I have a cousin that really thinks Apache. And if you see his mother and my father, you would think Apache. But I don't know. My daughter's in the process of bringing me now one of these really top DNA kits that will be able to tell me everything. But we do know that when you talk about a country of refugees being built and made into America, you need to talk about the 100 million Native Americans that you killed when you got here. When the Muslims come, they'll have no problem. The Islamic Muslim terrorists and those who adhere to Sharia law, those who adhere to Islamic as their belief system, is their church, is their religion, whatever they want to call it, they'll do the same thing. They've told you they would. They have told you, they have told me that they will kill every American and every Jew. So think about that. When they come here, you killed, your ancestors killed 100 million plus. That's just 100 million in a short time. But plus, that number could have been twice that high. Think about that. So what if the Muslims come here, the Islamic Muslims, with Sharia law, with Allah, and kills 100 million Americans, 200 million Americans? You're going to be like that little monkey that's just sitting there clapping the whole time? You act like it. That's what you act like now. You act like a bunch of fools. You act like infighting. Makes me think that there's more to you than just part monkey. If we were from monkeys, then how come monkeys are still here? Some of them are. Jody Wolf Expoz.